Welcome to NRL 360 Rugby League from every angle, brought to you by Ford Everest. Joining me again, the great Gorden Tallis. Let's bring the journos in. Buzz Rothfield and Brent Read. A massive day in Newcastle with breaking news around their coach and their captain. It started with the coach, Rudy, but now there's talk around Kieran Ponga. What's going on?
Yeah, look, obviously there's been whispers around Kieran Ponga for some time in Rugby Union. He's contracted with the Knights till the end of 2027. But an agent, a New Zealand-based agent, Rugby Union agent, has been shopping Kieran around Europe. Now, I've been in contact with the Ponga camp today, and I didn't really get a straight answer out of them, but what I gleaned from their text messages is if he's being shopped around Europe, it's being done without them giving him the agent the green light. But that's what's happening at the moment with Kieran Ponga. He's being shopped. His name's been mentioned by this Rebel Rugby competition that's going on at the moment. So he is on the radar of Rugby Union clubs, Braith.
Very interesting. Buzz, the coach, Adam O'Brien, what's the latest?
Well, I'll tell you what the latest is. Yesterday afternoon, about 2 o'clock, I got a text message from someone saying Adam O'Brien is gone at the Newcastle Knights and will happen this week. The story has now got out. They're now saying Adam O'Brien will be punted from the Knights at the end of the season. I've spoken to Peter Parr, I've spoken to Adam O'Brien. They do not know where the stories come from. He's made the finals for the last 5 years, Adam O'Brien. I think there's legs to the story. I think he's really struggling to hold on to that job. The problem these clubs have got right now is there's only a few quality coaches left. If they don't go for Hannay now, if they don't go for Willie Peters now, they're worried the Cowboys will beat the Titans. So everyone's getting nervous about when to strike and get the coach they want.
Does Kieran Ponga have any clauses in his contract?
No, it's a straight contract. So I would say if he's being shopped to other sports, then that's in breach of his contract.
There's always been a question mark over Kieran, his future at Newcastle, whether he's happy there, does he see success there, he wants to win premierships, he wants to play rugby union, and he's close to Adam O'Brien. So you think if Adam O'Brien won't be there next year, the future of him, Kieran, at this club is in doubt, right?
Well, I think it's been in doubt for a while, Braith, regardless. I think the club will talk to Kieran tomorrow about, now that the stories come out to get some clarity around what's actually happening and what Kieran wants to do down the track with his future. Obviously, as I said, contracted for 2 years there, but these whispers just been going round and round. And then you hear that his name is on the radar of European rugby union clubs. His name's being talked about over there. That's a concern for the Knights.
Is there a chance, Buzz, I'll come to you, is there a chance that Newcastle could let him go, given the money he's on and the results they've had there over the past few years?
Well, the way he's playing, you make a really, really good point, because outside of the first 2 or 3 games, he's had a really ordinary season for the highest paid player in Rugby League, and he sort of limped his way into that Origin team, didn't he, when Reece Walsh wasn't available and they didn't think of the hammer at fullback. What I find with this story, it so reminds me of Sonny Bill Williams all those years ago. He had a watertight contract at the Canterbury Bulldogs. He just took off. It was a court case. He lost the court case. He had to borrow money from Anthony Mundine to pay a significant amount of money to Canterbury to get out of that contract. If Kieran has done this, whether the agent's acting with Kieran's approval, we don't know, but he'd be in all sorts of legal trouble.
Yeah, well, I don't think Kieran will go down that path. I think if he wanted to leave Rugby League and go to Rugby Union, at the end of this season, he'll sit down with the Knights. And look, Braith...
So they'd be crazy to let him go.
Well, they've got Fletcher Sharp. He's on about 1.3, 1.4 million dollars. He's missed the past 2 seasons, large chunks of it with Liz Frank injuries. So they haven't... With due respect to Kieran, it's injury related, but they haven't really got the value for money out of him. And as I said, they've got Fletcher Sharp coming through. They've got Dylan Brown going the next year. Maybe if Kieran sat down with them and said, look, I want to go and try rugby and I want to play for the All Blacks, I'm not sure they would say no to him, Gordy. I think they would at least have a conversation with him.
Well, you think that the Knights would pay more than what the All Blacks would be willing to pay.
Yeah.
When Brad Thorne went across, it was for less money. You don't walk to the All Blacks and go over there on more money. To go to Europe,
He'd make more in Europe and Japan.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. As for your suggestion that the Knights wouldn't want to let him go, the last few years I've regarded Ponga in the top 3 players in the game, up there with, Cleary, etc. On form, we've seen this year, he's not in the top 10. He's slipped quite substantially. And when you're paying the highest paid player in the league $1.5 million, it might be a wise salary cap move with, as you say, Fletcher Sharp around, to offload him.
Well, he's 27, so
Yeah.
at the deal what he'll get off, he'll be 30 when he signs his new deal.
Yeah.
Somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, he's a hell of a footballer, and I'd hate to see him leave the Code because he's been a star. He's one of the biggest stars in our game. You'd hate to see him go, but as I said, I think the Knights will now sit down with him. Now that we've broken their story, they'll sit down within the next 24 hours and they'll try to get some clarity around what Kalen wants.
It's a bit frustrating because Kalen is a superstar and has always had the potential to be the best player in our game, but just struggled to stay on the field for a long period of time and show us what he's got for long periods.
Yeah.
You know, and I think Newcastle have been hurt by that with results, right?
Yeah, the interesting thing is too, Peter O'Sullivan told me probably 12 weeks ago, I did a big interview with him about signing Dylan Brown and was a waste of money. He said his next target was Ponga. And 12 weeks ago he said, I'll see Andre and I'll see Ponga in, 3 or 4 weeks, and then I'll show them that we got, what we got to offer.
What about Dylan Brown?
Yeah.
Like that situation.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what I was thinking when Buzz said that. Then I thought, imagine what Dylan Brown thinks right now, because he thinks he's going to Newcastle to play with Kalen Ponga, and that's a lure for him, I imagine. So to think that maybe he won't, if you're Dylan Brown, I mean, that's got to be a shock for you.
Kalen needs to come out and make a statement. He's got so many fans up in Newcastle.
Rudy, he's your man.
Well, I've reached out, Braith. I've reached out to
nothing.
Kalen. Kalen got back to me today, but he just said...
Are you getting anything for us?
He just said, thanks for reaching out. Always appreciated it. But he didn't say whether there was
Did you show me that? Oh, did he say that? I want to see that.
And Andre...
That's a concession that something's happening.
Andre basically said, look, there's always noise around us and the Knights. We're not going to add to the noise.
So he gave you some information then?
Some information, yeah.
Not a lot.
Not the answers. Not the answers I wanted, though, Braith.
It's not exactly
Doesn't sound like you dug all that hard.
No.
You would have dug deeper, wouldn't you, Buzz?
Oh, mate.
He wouldn't have responded to Buzz, though. That's the problem.
Do you want me to show him a phone?
All right, Buzz. Yeah. You've been digging all day, and you love to dig. Adam O'Brien, what have you got for us? Is it an absolute crisis? What's the story?
Well, they've had a really, really disappointing year, and their injuries, though, have been up there with the South Sydney Rabbitohs. They're the two worst affected clubs. But as I said, I got a text message yesterday. But the blowtorch is on him. He's made the finals 4 out of 5 years.
Do you think he'll be there next year?
No, I don't think he'll be there next year. I think the Knights are getting into a situation, I said at the top, they're starting to think about next year, and if we don't grab Hannah, if we don't grab Peters, do we go Brad up? And they don't want to be beaten to... The Titans are looking for a coach. The Cowboys might be looking for a coach. West Tigers might be looking... So it's become this 4-club...
I reckon that's really harsh. I think he's made the finals, as you said.
So do I.
4 out of 5 years. I think he deserves to start next year. And if they start next year, Paulie, I think he does, because I think they've had a horrific injury toll this year. I mean, Calen's going to end up missing half the season. Fletcher Sharp's missed a lot of footy. And I think Adam, given his record in recent seasons, he deserves to at least start next season. Can I ask you a question?
Do you think they're a better side now from when Adam and Brian got there to where they are now? Do you think that...
I'll defend him there. Yep. Because when he started the club, it was on the back of about 3 wooden spoons. Yeah. So he has done better. But he went up and now he's on the way back down. Yeah. This year's
But injuries have played such a big part in that, Buzz. I mean, we've seen all the sides who've laboured this year, except the Gold Coast, have all had massive injury problems. The Gold Coast are the exception. They've just had a crap year. But a lot of the others have struggled.
Appreciate that, really.
Have struggled with injuries, and that's why you look at South. I know we're going to talk about them at some point. Look at the Knights. The injuries have killed them, and again, their recruitment hasn't been great because they haven't nailed the halves.
Before we move on, so if Adam O'Brien is gone for next year, do they have a preference who coaches Newcastle?
They have to have someone in the barrel.
I keep hearing Brad Arthur, and his 2 sons are there now.
He's best mates with Adam O'Brien. Imagine if he came in and took his job.
Well,
like best mates. I think Adam's godfather, one of his children, isn't he? So I just find that.
Do they have the same manager?
No, different managers.
Oh.
I'm hearing Blake Green's. Well, they love him up there.
They love him up. That's true.
And I also heard that a big reason Dylan Brown went there was because of Blake Green and the pitch that he put to him. So that again, you wanted to keep the $14 million player happy as well. And
the interesting thing is Peter Parr insists, he's the CEO, insists nothing's happening. But they've got a brutal board headed by Phil Gardner who just makes decisions and won't bring the rest into the loop until he's actually made them.
Does he know what he's doing? Phil Gardner?
I think Phil Gardner runs pokies really well, bistros really well, but he's not a rugby league man. He's built an empire with that West group.
Good schnitzels or?
I think the snitties up there are very good, yeah.
That's great. I might go
Chips or mash?
I was answering a question from...
Sorry, mate. Bit of gravy too, Buzz. With several coaches seemingly fighting for their futures, cracks began to show over the weekend.
Do you want more time with the club next year to turn this around? I mean, look, you've seen all the reports about where you're going to be.
Yeah, no, but and I don't take any notice of the reports. The speculation, it's unfounded. The results, we just haven't gotten. The game that we are in is a result-driven business.
The day the club feels like I'm not the right guy, that'll take care of itself. When you take these jobs, you understand what comes with it. The reason I do this job is because I want to turn the club around, and I actually believe that I can. I feel like I'm saying my eulogy. I'm good, mate. I'm all good.
Watched a team that was connected and fighting hard throughout that whole 80-minute period. We got some parts of our game that, are costing us dearly. And, I'm losing sleep at night working out how to fix that.
Okay, Buzz, I've been looking forward to this all day. You've put together a coaching pressure gauge.
Yeah. I was asked by the producer to put together a pressure gauge.
The sound effects are good.
And, yeah, there are 5.
Where do you rate these coaches, Buzz? Take the floor.
Well, Des Hasler, I got 10 out of 10. He's gone. And I know he was in denial yesterday. Unless he retires on his own volition or his own decision, he will be removed by that clause in his contract. It won't be a court case. He is gone. I've lifted Adam O'Brien up to 9.5.
What did he start the day at?
He started as an 8.5.
Okay.
But there are developments in rugby league, as you know, by the hour.
Was there a traffic jam on the way in?
The more phone calls you make. And I do want to tell you, I spoke to Peter Parr and I spoke to Adam as well. I had a good chat to Adam. And I also spoke to another key figure at that club before forming this opinion that he's in major stride. Now, Todd Payton at the Cowboys, they've won 1 of 6. They're 12th on the ladder. The last few weeks, the Dolphins and the Roosters combined to put 100 points on them. He has 5 or 6 State of Origin players. They went into week 2 of the finals last year. I think their management up there, and I know their CEO's moving on, I think the management up there are looking at other options, doing their due diligence.
They got a really soft run home too, the Cow, or softer run home.
Now, Benji, 8 out of 10, he was joking about his own eulogy yesterday. They've won 1 out of 8. Richo is on record. The great Richo is saying he'll be coaching next year, but they're one loss off the bottom of the ladder, and I think he's under pressure.
We're all going to die one day, Buzz, you know that?
Yeah, they are.
Oh, here he comes.
Finally, Siebes. I've given him a 6.
He can write one.
He's writing the eulogy.
Yeah. Siebes I've got as a 6 out of 10.
He should be higher.
No.
You reckon?
Yeah.
They're running 7.
They're in the 8, Gordy.
Yeah, but at the beginning of the year where you thought they were going to be.
I thought they would be top 4.
And the Roosters signed their captain for what? To win a comp?
Apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Siebes, I still think to be ironclad certainty of keeping his job, he needs to make the 8.
Yeah, I agree. I think they
because we thought at the start of the year, most of us did, they were a top 4 club.
Yeah, top 4, I thought.
All right,
there are your rankings, mate.
All right, thank you. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, Desi, is he gone or not? Like, I thought he was gone. Everyone said he was gone. I was waiting for the announcement. I actually thought it happened. I'd seen it that much and heard it, but it hasn't. What's going on?
I spoke to Des Friday. He says he's not gone. I don't think that he's been brought into the picture of the position they're in. I think they're waiting till it's mathematically impossible for him to make the top 8. I think that's now, Reedy, isn't it?
Well, no.
If he won every game.
What is there? There's 16 points left in the competition.
Well, you know the Titans better than anyone.
Yeah, mate, I was there yesterday. And
We'll talk to Estelle or something.
Well, I
What
haven't
do you got
heard
for
it,
us?
right? I haven't heard it. So we don't want to keep on sacking coaches. And Desi was there and everybody thought we'd be in a better position. And for some reason, we're not.
There's been some very heavy stuff written, and Peter Bedell and Travis Main did Harry's Lost the Sheds. And that a kid there in the side read about his first grade debut in the Telegraph on the website. Wasn't even told, didn't get his jumper, all that sort of thing. And
Pretty alarming what's coming out of there at the moment. You're right, Buzz.
Yeah, but look,
It's more alarming the way they're playing. I mean,
You're not a big fan, are you, Reedy? Of Des?
I love Des as a bloke, right? But I think his ways are outdated. I think he's, with due respect to Des, I think he's become a bit of a dinosaur.
that's a heavy comment.
If you're going to coach on the Gold Coast, a place that needs more promotion, they're under siege in the AFL, what does he do to promote the game up there? Cuts his press conferences off after 3 minutes, sits in does his press conferences after games, gets up and walks out. I mean, you've got to promote the game. Des doesn't promote the game on the Gold Coast. This is the thing that I find annoying. It's one thing to lose footy games. Look, that happens, right? And that's what coaches get judged by. But on the Gold Coast, it's different gravy, man. You're under assault from the AFL. You've got to promote the game, because that's what the AFL do up there. They promote the hell out of the game. At that joint, media conferences get moved left, right and centre. No one goes anymore,
There's a little bit of nonsense there.
What's the nonsense?
I'll tell you what the nonsense is. A coach is not a PR guy.
Yes, he is.
He's not.
Yes, he
You've
is.
heard Wayne Bennett press conferences.
Mate, Wayne's the best in the business, man. Are you serious?
You don't think he gets one or two word answers every now and then? If
Mate,
he's not
Wayne
in the
works
right
the
mood?
media better than anyone, Buzz. He's the
because
best.
he rings you people privately and loads you up and all that sort of thing. I'm saying some of his press conferences are pretty ordinary.
Some of them. Every one of Des's
problem is not
every one of them.
Des's problem is not his PR. That's like us blowing up about Origin players not speaking to us. That's wrong. Des's problem is he's not winning footy games. They're on the bottom of the ladder.
That's an issue.
It's got nothing to do
but
with PR.
But I also think if you're on
he's upset the local journos because he won't do 4-minute press conferences. He's doing 3.
Mate, he moves them all the time, Buzz. Players are never up for media because Des is pulling them out of media. We
got Kieran Foran on a little while, don't we?
Well, that's because the great Kieran's retiring.
Look, I think Desi could do that at a big, powerful club like Brisbane.
Yes.
But when you're on the Gold Coast and there's a lot of transit people and a lot of holiday goers that might want to come to the game, the more they see a guy there promoting, I think it does help. And I had to go at Wayne Bennett because there'd be, the Swans coach, was it Kevin Sheedy there, kicking balls over planes and all that early in the morning, and Wayne would brush them. And I think there is a responsibility of the coaches to sell the game.
I shouldn't have called Des a dinosaur. That was disrespectful.
But
I think some of his ways...
your comments?
I'm retracting that comment, Des. I apologise. I shouldn't have called you a dinosaur.
But,
but some of Des's ways are old school and they don't work.
I agree.
They don't work on the Gold Coast, Buzz.
So you hit the reverse button quick.
I was a bit harsh on him. That was a bit harsh. He's been a great coach.
So is Wayne the dinosaur?
I love the gravy man.
No, we'll get to that later.
What a backflip. Go to the Olympics.
He's been like... Mate,
I've never heard anyone backflip in 60 seconds.
Well, you're about to soon, as I understand it. Des has been great for the game. Yeah. I just think it's done.
My point is, Braith, if they're running 6th, no one would worry if his press conferences were 3 minutes, 3 minutes.
But they're not. They're running Stone Muddleless last.
Yeah, they're coming last, Buzz, just to give you the information. On a mission to avoid their 3rd straight loss, Bulldogs coach Cameron Serrato swung the axe on his prize signing, and it worked.
Bulldogs now on the attack.
Marty to kick it.
Great tackle.
Superb tackle, Dearden. Oh, he is Superman. Drinkwater on to Purdue. Dearden, Cowboys, McLean, Laban. Beautiful right foot step. It was Jagger Langland's like. Burton, right side, kick. And getting through Preston. That was too easy. Extra points, Hayward. Burton, they're not at the moment. Tracy, on to Chuama. He's got Ridikama there. Jethro Ridikama becomes a try scorer in the NRL. Oh, I think it's in the Stars, Dean and dummy and run. It's Drinkwater. That's in the Stars as well, or did he lose it?
He's lost it.
He's lost the ball over the line. Cowboys were about to go 12-all and kick for the lead, and he loses possession. Oh, Derby throws a watermelon pass back to Laban. Says, do your best. He offloads. Drinkwater. Dearden with it. Kick to the corner. Dearden looking to cap off the weight. Carras takes it dead. Canterbury win the contest.
And a courageous win from the Bulldogs on the road.
That was the turning point, thanks to Ashley and Martin Medical Hair Centres. Buzz, to drop or not to drop?
You're talking...
Galvin, the story you wrote this morning.
I wrote this morning that Toby Sexton and Reid Marnie had got them into the top 4, and should stay in the football side, and that Galvin, I don't like him sitting in a coaching box, should probably keep his match conditioning up and go and play New South Wales Cup for a few weeks. That was my opinion. I've since learnt this will not be the case. They couldn't give a stuff what I've written, obviously, because I'm now told that there were huge concerns about the Bulldogs' attack, not just in recent weeks, but since the beginning of the season. I've got the stats here. Storm have scored 517 points. Raiders have scored 462 points. The Bulldogs have scored 366 points. Manly, Roosters, Sharks and Dolphins have all scored more points. There's a worry about their attack. I'm hearing that they're tempted now to put Galvin in, start him at halfback, stop the debate, stop the speculation, get some cohesion, and poor old Toby Sexton. I have not changed my opinion. I said at the start.
It sounds like a good idea. I swear I said it a week ago on this show, anyway.
Well, you know what?
Well, and
you have a million ideas.
You disagreed vehemently with
You have a million ideas, and you've finally got one right. Well done. Congratulations.
Well done. No, look, I think it's look, it was right from the Dogs, just to cut the head off on the weekend and stop trying to keep everybody happy. And if they go with Galvin, but pick him at 7 or pick him at 6 and just run with it. Don't try to keep the whole squad happy.
Yeah, watching the game on the weekend, I thought this team, the way they're attacking, can't win the comp. Yeah. It was really an eye-opener to me. I was hoping they would improve, going back to the team that they did have, but they didn't. Their defence has been amazing and won them this game. Now, what really concerned me was they were playing the team that's got the worst defence in the competition, and they only scored the points that they did. So I went and had a look at the numbers. And this was Sexton's numbers compared to the others, top 4 teams at the moment in attack. If you look at Hughes, 15 games, 6 tries, 19 try assists, 47 tackle busts, 8 line breaks. Metcalf, he's played less games than Sexton. 8 tries, 11 try assists, 8 line breaks, 33 tackle busts. Fogarty even there, 16 games, 2 tries, 18. You can see the numbers compared to Sexton down the bottom, right? So this is no line break. So he hasn't made 1 line break all year, Sexton. So this is when I'm thinking, you know what? I can see what Serrato sees, but he's got to make the call. He's got to make the call. If he wants to win a premiership or have a chance of winning a premiership and he doesn't think Sexton can do it in that key position and execute the way that they need it, then put Galvin at 7 and just do it now. Just do it now.
My view as soon as he signed was as a big picture, long-term signing, that if he's going to deliver the premierships that Gus told us about, that it would be in a year or 2, maybe even 3 years. That's why they signed him long-term. Cameron is obviously of the opinion there are a chance of winning the comp this year, but not with the attacking processes they have in place right now. And that's why Sexton will be, I believe, removed from the side in the next week or 2.
This goes back to what we said in the pre-season, or early in the season, Braith, about the spine.
Yeah.
And I doubted whether they had a spine that could win a premiership. But I think Galvin gives them that because he adds another dimension to them. But with due respect to Toby Sexton, he's done a really serviceable job, but he can't do what Lachlan Galvin can do. He's a good footballer, but he can't
Lachlan still needs to prove himself, mind you. I'm not going to take back that I don't think it's a distraction still what's going on. I do, but I also do think
But don't you think, Braith, it's a distraction while it's up in the air?
Yeah,
you just got to make
still
the
up
call.
in the air. That's why I'm saying I need to make a call. There's been too much stuffing around and they've probably been unsure of it. They've wanted to show respect to Sexton and give him an opportunity. He's had his opportunity and he hasn't been poor either. No. They still weren't winning games. They've only got just beaten by Penrith, so it's a tough one to make. Very hard call. And as long as the players, this is the big thing for me that I've been strong on, as long as the playing group and the senior players are on the same page as the coach and agree and don't feel aggrieved by the players like Sexton and Marnie in their situation, if they're comfortable and they want Galvin in that 7 jersey and they think they're more chance of winning the comp with Galvin, chuck him in.
And you know what? Cameron Serrato, in a very short period of time, has proved himself to be an emerging super coach.
He's a great coach.
A guy who's going to win premierships. And as much as I wanted Sexton to stay there in the score of loyalty, I can understand. I can understand this decision.
I love that you're on board now, Buzz.
No.
I love it.
No,
No, but the Dogs probably thought that Sexton was going to fail.
This is like Gayness like
You know what I
that.
mean? And then that made the decision easier if Sexton failed, and he didn't fail. He just kept on doing his job and playing good.
I think the thing, Reedy, too, is sometimes you can look too far ahead.
Yeah.
They've got a window of opportunity now.
Yes.
You don't know what's going to happen next year. You don't know what's going to happen the year after. You don't know what injuries you're going to get. You talk about South, you talk about other teams that have got injuries and that's wiped them out. Well, they don't have injuries. They've just got key positions to take care of, and they've got a chance to win a comp this year. So sometimes you can look too far ahead and miss those windows of opportunity. This is one for them.
And the iron's hot, Braith.
The attacks,
Where'd you get that from?
the attack stats I gave you, the Bulldogs are averaging 22.8 points per game. Melbourne Storm are averaging 32.3. That's why this decision's being made. I find it very hard on Sexton, but I can understand why.
Okay, so before we move on, you concede that Reedy was right? And
that he got it right?
I will concede that
He hit you
Reedy
with the right
was
bell.
so long overdue to get one.
Thanks, Buzz. Thanks, brother. I got you.
Oh, no, I missed It's making me sick.
Well.
All right, South CEO
Burgers, you
blast Bennett criticism as laughable after Buzz questions the age of the great Supercoach.
I feel like
you've
I'm
had a
under
tough
torture.
day. You've had a big day.
I have. Look, I wrote a piece this morning that Souths are running second last in NRL, last New South Wales Cup, second last in flag. And I'd had a few people reach out to me, not me saying this, that is Wayne Bennett still up with the modern game? And it was, it was a nasty thing to print, but, people are asking me these things. I actually would never disrespect Wayne. I was on an Immortals judging panel
Well, you can't.
last year, and I actually pushed for him to become an Immortal. And not that a player that 900 coaching games, plus the fact he played for Australia, plus the fact he's won 7 premierships. It was not so. I couldn't get the support in the room. I just wanted to prove I'd never disrespect him. That's how highly I think of him. But the bottom line is they're going like absolute bastards this year. They've had a shocking run with injuries, which I credit them. And Wayne has a massive job on his hand to drag them out of this. This is why I'm surprised that he even put in for the Kangaroos job. I think in September, October, that club needs a massive review to work out where they're heading. You look at clubs like Parramatta and with Riles there, they've struggled too, but you can see future there. You look at other clubs that are lower on the ladder, there's a couple of them, they've got kids coming through. I can't see those kids at South Reedy. I don't know where they're next.
Do you think Wayne put his hand up for the Australian job to get a bit of aura back? Because when you're the Australian coach, you get a bit more power.
Well, it's a prestige role, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think Wayne likes doing that job. And I think he likes the idea of doing Ashes tour as well. Obviously,
But
the
you've
Ashes
got to give
are
up
coming
being
back.
a coach then.
Well, you do if you do the job now.
Yeah.
But I don't think you should have to. But that's another debate, Gordy. I mean, I think you're harsh on Wayne, Buzz, because I think their injury record this year, and I think the issue hasn't just been their injury record, it's the injury record on top of the recruitment the last couple of years. When Wayne wasn't necessarily there, they haven't recruited well the last couple of years.
So is it injuries or recruitment?
Well,
Everyone's
I think you can't separate the two, Braith.
Excuse me.
You can't separate
No,
two.
because I think...
One's injuries,
Last year you said...
which is unlucky,
If you have,
and one's a decision
no, but I'm saying
you
if
make.
you have injuries and if
So you make a decision to get injured.
If you've recruited poorly and then you get injuries, it compounds the poor recruitment. I think they work together.
Yeah, but you said...
If you recruit smartly, you can cover for injuries sometimes. But if you recruit poorly, which is what they've done...
And who's made those decisions?
Well, who's in charge of recruitment? Mark Ellison, I suppose, has done the
But
recruitment.
last week, when I said it was a recruitment blunder to let Adam Reynolds go, you said it was rubbish.
No, I said that you can't go back 4 years and blame that.
Well,
Because
you can't blame
what
Wayne.
I said was
you can't
they've
blame
had plenty
Wayne.
of chances to get it right from then, and they haven't got it right.
Well,
right?
who are you going to blame Lewis Dodd on?
Well, I think have we ever got to the bottom who made that
reserve
decision?
grader.
I don't know that we've ever got to the bottom who made
Wayne
that
surely
decision.
would have rubber stamped it. He wouldn't come to a new club and spend elite money on a
Well, it's
player
one
with
that's one they've obviously got wrong.
It's a great
'cause
mystery. It's a great mystery.
It is a
that
mystery,
one.
isn't it?
It's a great
But
mystery.
it's one they got wrong, obviously, because it hasn't worked out.
This is South Sydney. This isn't the Gold Coast
Recruitment
Titans.
injury.
The position they're in is
thing.
just unacceptable across all grades, and Blake Solly and Wayne need to sit down as soon as round 27 is done and they need to find a way out of this hole.
Yeah, I don't disagree, Buzz.
Yeah, even with fit players, they've got a big job on their hands, the Bunnies. Now, let's take a look at our Sportsbet Player of the Round nominees for round 19, and here they are, Nicholas Hines. What a game it was from him. Clutch for the Cronulla Sharks. Jerome Hughes again, 4-try assist, standing out for the Melbourne Storm. Chanel Harris-Tavita for the Warriors with 2 tries. Buzz, Nico is back.
As I said, he's on $1.1 million and he played like a $1.1 million player the other night. It was so great to see his confidence, his 2 tries. The Dolphins came home hard, but Nico had
Did you have a word to him? Bit of advice?
Oh, no. I haven't even seen him around the coffee shop lately. Yeah. He might have.
It was good to see him own those moments. Yeah. Clutch moments. I mean, I actually, looking at the stats today of all the halves, when I was looking at Sexton's, I saw Nico's, and he's had the most line break assists, I think. So he creates a lot of opportunities, and he's very dangerous. It's just the big moments that he has struggled with. Hopefully this is, the monkey off the back.
And there's such a different side, Braith, when he plays well. We saw that, didn't we? They're the side, when he plays well, they're the side you think that can challenge potentially for a premiership. Now, they might have done too much damage already, but, it's great to see him smiling and happy.
Very good to see. Stick around, journos. This Sunday from 10 a.m, Tim Zoo fights to become a 2-time world champion. Live from Las Vegas, it's the only Australian fight worth watching next week, and it's only on Main Event.
Blood and guts warfare. Split decision.
You should have killed me the first time, because I'm coming back with revenge.
The way I like to fight is to just break faces, and I'm going in there to hurt him.
Sue from the ashes.
Victory by any means.
Boxing's only 8-division champion of the world. He's back. Manny Pacquiao. Brutality towards immortality.
Gets it on Radley! Game over! Victor Radley looks for the camera, celebrates his stop, and he's put a dent in the thing. He's a happy boy.
I want to find out after the game what that was all about. Was that a celebration?
I think it was, Block.
Oh, yeah, the cameraman, he got a shot.
We all did.
Those cameras are worth like 50 grand. I hope we don't have to take out of the Try July fund to fix it.
Welcome back. That was our moment of the round thanks to Ford. Victor Radley with his try celebration, his Happy Gilmore try celebration, and poor Middo, the cameraman, he's actually here right now on the camera. He looks like he's doing all right, so the camera was fine. Now, Reedy, you said last Wednesday was the darkest day in New South Wales history.
I stand by that.
Stand by it?
I stand by it, yeah. I mean, people were saying, I'll go back to 2020 when they got beaten by the worst team ever, but the decider in that series, Braith, was at Suncorp Stadium. This was at a core stadium in front of 80,000 people, 80,000 screaming Blues fans, and Queensland were $2.95 outsiders, and you've won the first game, and then you go to Perth, where you've never lost to Queensland, you've got an unbelievable
Only
record.
lost because of goal kicking.
Yeah, and then you come back to Sydney for a full house, you're Queensland are $2.95 outsiders, and you lose the football game. I thought, and it was the way they lost it. They were just.
But they won 2 halves.
I know Queensland was so good. But New South Wales was so bad, Braith.
Why?
So bad.
Why?
Well,
Come on, why? Who's to blame?
Is Laurie a dinosaur?
Well, Laurie's not a dinosaur, but you've got to question Laurie's origin record. I mean, it's horrendous, let's be honest. And he's a great bloke. We all love him. He's a fantastic bloke. But his origin record, his record in deciders, is not good.
Yeah.
So
that was a concern of mine before the series. And then the way it played out and how he just fell off a cliff made me worry even more. Just the vibe around too, though. I've heard a bit of commentary around and I felt it. You know, when you had Madge there, he was fired up. He got the fans fired up. He took on Billy face to face. You know, if he was asked if he hated Queensland, he would have said yes. Not that that's a strong word. You know, like even at the ground, the feeling at the ground with New South Wales fans. As soon as they were taken out of the game, that first 10 or 15. It was over.
Yeah, but you know what? That's Laurie Daly. That's Laurie's personality. Laurie is like Jake Trebojevic. Everyone loves him. Everyone thinks they're the 2 nicest people in rugby league. And whether he needs to work himself up a bit more to get more... The bottom line is New South Wales didn't turn up in Perth. and New South Wales did not turn up in Sydney. You say it's the darkest day in history. I say it's one of the darkest for sure. I was up there. We got beat by 50 one year at Suncorp.
Well, you've had a week to reflect, Buzz. Where did it go wrong?
I don't know, and I spoke to Laurie on radio today.
What did Loz say to him? I missed it. What did he say?
He more spoke personally about, the pain. He hadn't watched the video yet, and, he didn't leave his house all weekend because that's how...
It's tough.
Yeah, it is tough. He's going to do a review with Dave Trodden. You do reviews, win, lose or draw. You look for ways to improve. But Dave Trodden said to me from a column in Sunday, they've got a contract. They're not going to get rid of him. So he will be there again next year. I agree with you. His record's poor. 1 series out of 6.
I don't necessarily think they should get rid of him because they made a decision to go down this path. But I remember when they appointed him, and I think I wrote a tweet, no one in Queensland is shaking their shoes today over this because his record was, like, as I've said, I don't want to disrespect Laurie because he's one of the greats of our game. He's a great bloke. But he should never have got the job in the first place, we're being honest.
Well, who would you give it to? You can't give it to club coach. You can't give it to Ricky Stewart.
Can I tell
you, I spoke to Craig Bellamy on Friday. He was in Newcastle getting ready to play the Knights. Craig Bellamy insisted the preparation was perfect.
Was Craig there the whole time?
Craig was in camp most of the time, yes.
Most of the time?
He was just over Laurie's back.
Can't we change the rules and give it to Ricky Stewart? Like, Ricky's in great form down in Canberra. He's got a young team down there.
I think Ricky wanted it too, from memory.
He wanted it when Maguire got it. Yeah. And I've played underneath him in Origin. He suits it perfectly. And his footy IQ's up there. His ability to motivate players, inspire players is there. He gets the New South... He's an ex-legend of New South Wales and Australia.
Would the Raiders be where they're at now?
I'd be going for stick.
I totally agree. Ricky wanted to do it.
Yep.
Don Ferner wouldn't let him do it. The reason Canberra leading the comp, as Gordy said, is their coach is 100% focused.
Through the period. Can I just ask a question? Can you guys just once say that Queensland were really good?
Yeah. Queensland were great.
Well, and you know what? We're talking about Laurie Daly here. I think Billy Slater's performance to drop Cherry Evans and make all the changes, bring Papa back, was up there with the great coaching performances in Origin history.
Blues fans don't really care. They just want to know who's going to coach. And they want to know who and why they lost and how they're going to be better next year, no disrespect.
Mate, you've got to
Queensland were amazing. There's no doubt about that. That showed on the field. They were brilliant.
Reedy's back. He's not a part-time Queenslander anymore.
He's
went home on the weekend. Doing these ones on his Instagram.
Loving life, It was so good. Sun was shining a bit brighter. I told you, boys, up in Queensland on the weekend.
Why did we lose?
Why did New South Wales lose? They just didn't. They didn't turn. Well, Queensland were very good. 40 years right there. Queensland were brilliant. But New South Wales didn't show up.
I think New South Wales got beaten with what players didn't bring. Yeah, I mean, like, there's only so much, Braith. I know you played for New South Wales. Mate, in the end, when you run out on the field and you run out to that 80,000, that's the moment where you know whether you've done the work and you've prepared right.
Jeez, it was disappointing, wasn't it, Buzz?
It was really disappointing. You asked what went wrong. In hindsight, it's easy. Matt Burton should have been 5'8".
Just move to Queensland, mate, and you'll be a happy man.
Kalamatani should have been in the side.
Are you kidding or serious? Matt Burton should have been 5'8".
Yes, he should have been.
All right, let's go. Up next, it's Heavy Hitters with Titans 5'8", Kieran Foran. Welcome back. Now it's time for Heavy Hitters with Kieran Foran. Thanks to Host, Plus and Foz. First of all, congratulations on an amazing career. You're an inspiration. Is it more of a relief now that you've got that off your chest?
Yeah, it is, Braith. Look, I obviously came into this season sort of not sure whether I would, go round again, but as I've touched on previously, the last sort of 4 years I've sort of thought it could finish up at any given point, but, I've always found something inside me to keep going, and it just feels that the time's right now. I'm really comfortable with the decision and keen to finish the year off strongly.
Foz, 17 seasons, 310 games, and you play tough. You put your body on the line. How have you done it?
Oh, I've just loved competing, Braith. You know, I love the game of rugby league. I have since the age of 4 years old. It's been, you know, everything I've ever wanted to do in life is live out my dream and play in the NRL. And I've been, you know, incredibly lucky to be able to achieve that and to do it for as long as I've done it. Yeah, I just feel blessed, mate. And I've just wanted to compete to the best of my ability and be the best player I could become.
Yeah, Kieran, it's Gorden Tallis here, mate. Congratulations. We just saw some footage on how deep you go into line. As a playmaker, who taught you that and why would you do that to yourself? We just saw big Sam take it easy, put a couple of shots on you there.
Yeah, I'm paying the price for that now, Gordy. No, look, I think early on in my footy career, I obviously wasn't too sure, you know, which position would suit me best. And you know, I was fortunate enough to have some really good guidance and coaches around me at that time. And I think I just learnt pretty early on that the squarer and deeper I was able to play into the line, the more space I could create for the guys inside and outside. And, you know, I had a great fullback there at Manly in my early days in Brett Stewart. And, mate, he just encouraged me to keep going as far into the line as I could to give him more time. And that's probably where it started.
Hey, Foz, it's Buzz. I remember interviewing you years and years ago, and you're in a tough period in your life. I'm not sure if you're Parramatta or the Warriors. And you were dealing with a lot of issues, mental health. It was an amazing interview. But, mate, you come back to the standing you have in rugby league now. It has been so inspiring. And I guess, mate, it was a lot of hard work to, you know, you repair your life in the manner in which you have.
Oh, for sure, Buzz. You know, I remember that interview really well, and I remember that time in my life. And, yeah, it certainly wasn't an overnight fix. And I say that to young guys now going through difficult periods in their life and dealing with challenging circumstances is, you know, you can't click your fingers and expect to turn things around straight away. You've got to be prepared to be honest with yourself. You've got to do the work and you got to make better choices, and that's something I've continued to try and do throughout life. And yeah, just really proud of the man I am today.
Hey, Foz, it's Brent Read, mate. Buzz asked you about those difficult times. What got you through those times? What inspired you, lifted you, kept you going?
Yeah, look, Reedy, I never felt I was finished as a footballer. I know I walked away from the game in 2016 and, you know, I needed a break. I needed some time to reassess where my life was at and the decisions I was making. But first and foremost, I never felt I was finished. You know, I had an inner belief that, you know, I hadn't quite achieved what I wanted to achieve as a rugby league player. And so that probably forced me to come back and sort of yearn for that. And then, you know, I had great support around me, you know, family support, friends. And as I touched on, you know, I wasn't quite being the best version of myself. And I always knew that there was something inside me that you know, could reach for higher and better standards. And, you know, I just made sure of that.
Hey, Kieran, talking about those higher standards, you played 30 tests for the Kiwis. Talk us through some of those memories.
Yeah, look, they're some of the best memories of my career, Gordy. I'm a proud Kiwi. You know, I grew up idolising the Kiwi jumper and the guys that played for them. And, you know, I dreamt of running out there one day and singing the anthem and doing the haka and beating Australia. And, you know, to be able to achieve that throughout my career at various stages has meant the world to me. It's something I'm very, very proud of. And, yeah, they'll live on with me forever.
Foz, I was going to ask you about Des Hasler. He's been a huge part of your career, starting at Manly. My goodness, he's under the blowtorch right now, and he's struggling. The team's struggling. Tell us, can you take us inside the Titans and tell us what's actually happening there?
Yeah, for sure, Buzz. Look, it's been tough. There's no doubt about that. It's been a disappointing season to date. It's certainly not the season we envisioned having. You know, we worked incredibly hard throughout the pre-season and, you know, wanted to start the year off strong and give ourselves every chance of of competing and playing finals footy, and that hasn't worked out for some unknown reason. What I can say is that, you know, I've been around footy a long time, and the work that we put in up here is no different to any other club I've been at. If anything, we work harder. The guys are incredibly invested. The people around the club want success more than anyone I've ever seen. The Gold Coast is crying out for it, and to touch on Desi, mate, he's setting the standard of all of that every single day. You know, we all know the sort of guy he is. Yeah. He works incredibly hard. He's come up here to get success and bring success to the Titans, and you know, we're all just a little bit unsure of why that's not happening just at the minute. But sometimes you just got to stay the course. You just got to stay at it, and eventually the tide turns.
Foz, what about the glory days at Manly, winning a premiership and some of your best mates and best times? Talk us through that.
Oh yeah, they're great memories, Braith. You know, I've said it a number of times. I was incredibly lucky to come into such a great winning environment in my younger days, and be surrounded by so many quality footballers that had just played in a couple of grand finals and won a premiership in 2008. And, you know, to come into that footy side a year later and just be nurtured and taught by all those guys, mate, they shaped and moulded me more than anyone. You know, they had such an impact on my footy career. They played tough. They were a skillful footy side, and yeah, I think I tried to sort of impress them as much as I could in my early days.
You certainly did that, Foz. You said earlier that you were proud of the man that you've become. We're proud of you too. You're a credit to the game, and we'll see you on Fox League next year.
Sounds good, Braith. See you, mate.
The great man, Kieran Foran, he spoke very well there, didn't he? Yeah. Thank you, boys. It's time to go. Buzz, Reedy.
Great to be here, mate. Great
been exceptional.
Yeah.
I think Reedy got you today.
I think Reedy got the points.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, mate, I pumped him up in the green room. I said he was overdue for a big show.
Yeah.
First time for everything.
Double
Thanks,
invoice
guys.
for you too, Buzz. You stayed a bit longer tonight.
Yeah, might bump up the invoice.
Okay, up next we reveal our player of the round, and following us, it's the latest edition of Matty and Crom.
Looking for their fourth try. No, they're not. A little field goal from Sam Walker, and he's got it. Sam Walker with an old-fashioned pre-half-time field goal, and the Roosters have a sneaky 1-point lead.
Welcome back. That was Sam Walker making his mark thanks to Steel Blue Boots, established in comfort. Now, player performance of the round is Nicho Hynes with 38% of the vote, only pipping Jerome Hughes by 1%. He deserved that, Nicho, didn't he?
Yeah, good to see him back.
Very good to see him back. Hopefully he can continue his form for the Sharks. That's it for NRL 360 for tonight. Now it's time for Matty and Cronk.